most amount of money spent through the government is on wars, on weapons, infantry, nukes, warheads, all the stuff that will most hopefully never ever use, but they dump trillions and trillions and trillions into new equipment, weapons, this and that, hoping that we'll have another war. And it's like,
well, or hoping that it prevents another war. But I mean, let's really be really intelligent with this. To not have more wars, get rid of the weapons. If we don't have weapons, what are we gonna do? Hit each other with sticks? You know, at least it's pretty safe, right? We don't need all these crazy killing devices. And we need to get to a point as a human family where we decide enough is enough. We've had enough wars. They've never went well. No one ever wins.
No one ever wins. There's still no one ever wins.
Never. The only people that lose are the beautiful families that get destroyed. The cultural, look at Ukraine. Look at what's going on in Ukraine right now. These beautiful cultural buildings will never get back. Like, there is no upside.
How much
to
land
war.
was destroyed that'll never be able to come back, and vegetation, animals.
It's crazy. So, before we decide to just blow humanity up, why don't we just try in the next 5-10 years to really do something that has never been done in human history and de-weaponize? And then there's always the thing, well, what if the aliens come down and we don't have weapons to fight them? But I mean, come on, guys, like, there's got to be a point where we just say enough is enough, and we get together as a human family and we start to create unity once and for all.
We all have a choice at the end of the day. Like, I can choose to be whatever I want. We choose to be who we are, but we know everybody has that gut feeling and knows what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of people do what's wrong, and they feel it, but they still do it.
Right, because you know what the most scary thing is to suggest something that's outlandish, like de-weaponization, and people think, oh, if you say something like that, well, you're just going to be labeled as crazy, when really that is the most sane thing you could possibly say on the planet.
Theoretically, mathematically, scientifically,
all of it. Bring back old morals, bring back that nuclear family where we are with our families. And I mean, I'm a woman in the workforce, but 100%, if I had children, I would remove myself somewhat from the workforce and focus on raising my children, okay? Like, the family is so, so, so important. And we don't want to be externalizing all of this greed and wealth and consumption for things when we actually have roles that we're supposed to play. If you look at the animal kingdom, Tegan, none of the animals abandon their young to go chase, getting a new Mustang. Like, it's not done. And so why as human beings are we so half retarded that we can't figure this stuff out? It's not hard stuff, guys. It's like, love your family, love your husband, love your wife, raise a family. You don't have to go around attacking people. We don't need to be blowing each other up and shooting each other and dealing with all of the craziness that's in this world. But to fix it, we have to identify it. We have to look at the problems and say, like, hey, we can do better.
Yeah, and there's no excuses wherever you're from, whether you're from this first world, westernized world, you're from a third world. Like, I've seen better examples in places that have terrible government and have terrible poverty and stuff like that. So it really doesn't matter. Like, we have our own choice. We can use all these excuses of this and that, but we have to look at ourselves, not look at our neighbors, not our parents, not anything. You have to truly look at yourself, your own individual, own collective identity, and realize that within yourself. Because if you're looking at everybody else around you, then you're living for somebody else. You're not living for your own morals and values. You're living for other people's ethics. And you're not even living your own life. You're living somebody else's values. You're living somebody else's morals. You're living somebody else's ethics. Because I can guarantee that probably more than 50, let's say at least 70% of the population, if there was a vote on Earth, that they would say no guns. At least 70%.
Oh my God.
At least.
Yeah.
So then, if there's 70% of people on Earth that don't want guns, then why do we have them? It's because everybody is too scared. They're too fearful to speak out. And there's only a very small percentage, let's say 20% that wants those guns, but 70% of us are too fearful to work together, to come together, to think for ourselves. We just rather live with the 30% and say, okay.
Yeah. And you have to have a voice. You have to use your voice and not be in fear of retaliation from the powers that be. And I think if your voice is speaking the language of unity and love and inclusion for others, we deal with so many young people here at the school and schools, and it's about that. The thing that changes human consciousness, the thing that changes any person for the better is love. When you give people love, and authentic love, where you're seeing who they are, you're seeing their creativity, and you're taking the time to really recognize who and what they are, that's transformative. And I feel like a lot of times the individuals that are trying to wage war and trying to tear down civilizations, they definitely don't have an understanding of love. They don't have an understanding of what it means to nurture and really care for life in and of itself. So we need more leaders that are nurturers, that are going to step up to the podium, step up to the plate and say, you know what, the old boys club has done it their way for a period of time. But
leaders, examples, celebrities, people who aren't afraid to talk out just because they're under a contract and they're afraid to lose their money and stuff like that. Like, I see so many people on YouTube and stuff, and they're like, they have contracts where they can't say certain things or whatnot, they can't speak their mind because they'll get their thing canceled. But they have such a big voice of power, and that's why I said with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. It's one of the biggest sayings, because it does. If people tune into you, if people take time out of their day to listen to you and they trust you, then make sure that's beneficial. Because if you're just coming out with all this negative shit, or you're too afraid to talk about it, you may as well shut your shit down right now. There's no point.
Yeah, that's why I've never signed a contract with anyone. I always control my own stuff, because then authentically you can say whatever you want and nobody can censor you. Nobody can say, you know what, little girl, you're a little guy, I'm gonna pull the plug on.
No amount of money is worth your freedom of speech.
100%.
Because if I was sitting here and I wanted to say something but I couldn't say it because I wouldn't make this money, like that would tear a hole inside of me, because you literally have sold yourself.
Right. And I mean, freedom of speech, that's the other thing. Who knows how long freedom of speech will be free?
It's almost getting to that point. Facebook, you say certain, you get banned.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's not freedom, I can't physically say things. I get banned off all social medias, that's taking away my freedom of speech. And there is, you can't go and start yapping about COVID, you can't start yapping about this kind of stuff, because we get shut down.
We get shut down. And I think, so then the best way to calibrate, because again, I am a lover, not a fighter. I am not one that is interested in attack on anything, any corporations, it's coming from a place of love. So the best thing that you can do, I know this was an AI conversation, but the best thing that you can do to protect yourself, to protect the world, is again that personal thing. Cleanse yourself, purify yourself. Don't dip into the world of darkness. Keep your vessel, your mind, your body as clean and clear as you can. Make your thoughts as beautiful as possible. And in and of that, when there are people out there doing dark things, speak up. If something is coming to pass that could really destroy the morality of our human family, we need to be brave enough to speak up and say, you know what, this is not good for us. And voice is powerful, and the power is always in the people. If the people wake up and essentially know what's right and what's wrong. 100%. So we'll see. The roller coaster has launched,
so we'll see. It's crazy too, over the next months and months here, we'll see what's going on, and obviously a lot more technology to utilize, and we'll kind of see where it goes.
Okay, again, Barb with Inspire Me 360 and Tegan.
Thanks guys.